Something changed at Shiseido in 2026, and the timing is impossible to ignore. Just months after Lisa of Blackpink became the beauty giant's new global ambassador for ULTIMUNE, Shiseido's profit story began attracting serious attention. But there is an important question hiding behind the headline. Are we actually looking at a Lisa effect, or are two very different stories simply happening at the same time? On February 9, 2026, Shiseido officially announced Lalisa Manobal, known worldwide as Lisa, as the new global ambassador for its iconic ULTIMUNE franchise. The company described her as a global pop sensation, actress and dancer whose Asian roots and international success fit the direction Shiseido wants for the brand. Her first campaign, called Fast, Slow, Free, launched in February across Shiseido's official global Instagram and social media. And Shiseido was not choosing just another celebrity face. ULTIMUNE has been one of the company's flagship skincare products for years. According to Shiseido, the ULTIMUNE Power Infusing Concentrate series had accumulated 331 beauty awards worldwide since its launch in 2014, based on the company's data through December 2025. There was also a personal connection in the campaign. Shiseido presented Lisa as someone who was already familiar with the brand, and Lisa said ULTIMUNE was a product she used. That gave the partnership a more natural story. One of the world's biggest pop stars becoming the face of a Japanese skincare icon that was already established long before she entered the picture. Then came the numbers. Shiseido entered 2026 after a difficult period. Its 2025 full-year results showed net sales of about 970 billion yen and core operating profit of 44.5 billion yen, while the company continued working through structural reforms and a challenging beauty market, particularly in China. Shiseido's own definition of core operating profit excludes non-recurring factors such as structural reform costs and impairment losses. That background matters because the company was not suddenly starting from zero when Lisa arrived. Shiseido had already been trying to rebuild profitability. And this is where the Lisa effect question becomes much more interesting. Shiseido reported strong first quarter 2026 results in May. The company recorded net sales of roughly 232 billion yen, while core operating profit reached about 13 billion yen, representing a substantial year-over-year improvement. External earnings coverage pointed to structural reforms and cost management as important drivers of that improvement. So if someone simply sees a major profit increase after Lisa became ambassador and immediately concludes, Lisa made Shiseido's profit explode, that would go further than the evidence allows. Because Shiseido itself has been clear about another part of the story, this recovery is connected to changes inside the company. But that does not make Lisa's role unimportant. In fact, this is where the partnership becomes strategically interesting. Shiseido chose Lisa at a moment when the company was trying to strengthen its global brands, reconnect with consumers, and build a stronger position outside its traditional markets. Lisa brings something that financial restructuring cannot manufacture overnight: enormous global cultural reach. Her audience crosses Asia, North America, Europe, and other major markets. Her Blackpink identity gives her immediate recognition, while her solo career gives the brand another channel through which to reach consumers who may not normally follow Japanese beauty brands. And Shiseido's campaign strategy reflects that thinking. The company said Lisa's campaign would include multiple films, her skincare journey, personal routines, and messages to fans. In other words, this strategy was not simply putting Lisa's face on a billboard. It was designed to turn her personal connection with skincare into a broader digital conversation around ULTIMUNE. That distinction is important. A celebrity endorsement can generate attention, but attention is not automatically revenue. Revenue is not automatically profit. And profit is certainly not proof that one ambassador caused the entire financial improvement. Still, there is another reason the timing keeps people watching. Lisa's partnership with Shiseido did not end with one campaign launch. The brand continued building activations around ULTIMUNE and Lisa during 2026, keeping the collaboration visible well beyond the original announcement. That means the real question may not be whether Lisa instantly transformed Shiseido's finances. The more meaningful question is whether Shiseido can convert Lisa's enormous global attention into sustained brand engagement, product demand, and long-term growth. Because that takes time. And this is exactly why the next set of financial results could be more revealing than the first headline number. If Shiseido continues improving profitability while maintaining or increasing sales, and if its key brands continue gaining momentum in international markets, then Lisa's partnership becomes much more interesting from a business perspective. Not because we can simply assign a percentage of profit to her, but because we can start looking at whether the marketing strategy is helping Shiseido strengthen its global brand position. There is also a fascinating contrast here. Lisa represents speed, global fame, social media, viral culture, and an audience that can react within minutes. Shiseido represents something very different. A beauty company founded in 1872, with decades of research, established products, and a long-term corporate strategy. Putting those two worlds together is what makes this partnership worth watching. And maybe that is the real Lisa effect. Not a magical formula where one celebrity arrives and suddenly a company makes millions more. Instead, it is the possibility that Lisa Blackpink can help an established Japanese beauty brand become more culturally relevant to a younger, more global generation, while Shiseido handles the much harder work of turning attention into lasting business results. So, is Lisa responsible for Shiseido's profit recovery? Right now, the responsible answer is, we cannot say that. The financial improvement has multiple documented drivers, including structural reforms and cost management, and Shiseido has not publicly attributed its profit growth to Lisa. Personally, I think the timing is too interesting to ignore, but it is still too early to call it a proven Lisa effect. To me, the real story is whether Lisa's influence can turn attention into lasting value for Shiseido and ULTIMUNE. But can we say the timing is interesting? Absolutely. Lisa officially joined Shiseido's ULTIMUNE story in February 2026. Shiseido was already executing a profitability recovery strategy, and its early 2026 financial performance showed meaningful improvement. At the same time, the company was putting one of the biggest names in global pop culture at the center of its international beauty marketing. That combination deserves attention. Because if the partnership continues to expand, and if Shiseido's global brands keep gaining momentum, we may eventually have more evidence to judge whether the Lisa effect was simply a marketing phenomenon or part of a much bigger business success story. And there is one detail that makes this partnership especially interesting. Shiseido is not simply using Lisa to create a moment. The company is building an ongoing relationship between her global image and ULTIMUNE's identity. That matters because in beauty, a viral campaign can disappear almost as quickly as it arrives. The real challenge is turning attention into recognition, recognition into trust, and eventually trust into repeat customers. Lisa gives Shiseido an enormous advantage at the first stage. Her name can instantly attract attention across markets that may have very different beauty cultures. But the product still has to do the rest. That is why ULTIMUNE itself remains central to this story. Shiseido has spent years building ULTIMUNE into one of its signature skincare franchises. Lisa may bring a new generation of consumers into the conversation, but the company still needs to convince those consumers that the product is worth staying with after the campaign ends. And this is where the next phase becomes much more important than the initial announcement. If Lisa's campaigns continue generating engagement, if ULTIMUNE maintains strong visibility, and if Shiseido can convert that attention into sustainable sales growth, then the partnership could become a powerful example of how celebrity influence and corporate strategy can work together. But if the attention remains mostly social media excitement without a meaningful commercial impact, then the Lisa effect may ultimately be remembered as a powerful marketing story rather than a financial one. For now, we simply do not have enough evidence to make that final judgment. What we do know is that Shiseido deliberately chose one of the most recognizable Asian artists in the world at a critical moment in its own transformation. Lisa entered the partnership with extraordinary global reach, while Shiseido brought a legacy beauty brand with decades of history behind it. That combination creates something bigger than a standard celebrity endorsement. It creates a test. Can global pop culture influence help reshape the future of a heritage beauty company? The answer will not come from one campaign, one viral post, or one quarterly result. It will come from what happens over time. And that is why the next Shiseido financial updates, the continued performance of ULTIMUNE, and Lisa's future campaigns could be far more revealing than the headline we are seeing today. So perhaps the most accurate way to describe this story is not that Lisa caused Shiseido's profit to surge. It is that Lisa arrived at a fascinating moment, and Shiseido is now giving us a chance to watch what happens when one of the world's biggest pop stars meets one of Japan's most established beauty brands. The Lisa Blackpink effect is still a question, but it is a question worth watching. For now, the numbers tell us that Shiseido is recovering. The partnership tells us that the company is betting heavily on global cultural influence, and Lisa's presence gives that strategy a face that millions of people already recognize. The most interesting chapter, however, may not be the one we are watching right now. It could be what happens next. Do you think Lisa's global influence can genuinely translate into long-term growth for Shiseido and ULTIMUNE, or is the connection between her arrival and Shiseido's stronger financial performance simply a coincidence in timing? Let me know what you think in the comments. If you found this breakdown useful, give the video a like and subscribe for more verified updates on Lisa, Blackpink, luxury brands, and the business stories behind the headlines.